On today's show, today's the day. We've all been waiting, and here we are. The first ever basketball game played at the Intuit Dome. What does this day mean? And what are we looking at in that first experience Monday night? Gonna be talking about it all on today's Locked On. We are finally here, Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, and tonight, entering my 20th season as a Clipper fan in terms of the fan experience and going to games. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where not only did I go to the Dodger game on Sunday night and did a vlog for that, I will have a comprehensive tour of the first in-game experience for Clipper fans after Monday night. And of course, Locked On Clippers, free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. The first season at the Intuit Dome, where you can find all the coverage of this incredible, historic season for the Clippers franchise and our fans right here on Locked On Clippers, wherever you get your podcast, and on the YouTube channel. Let me know what you're most looking at tonight, whether you're watching on TV or you're going to the game. What are you most looking at? What are you most looking for? We're going to be talking about that in the second segment. And then, of course, a little bit about the game in the end. But I have to say that the game is so secondary tonight. It truly is. It could not be more. It couldn't be less meaningless, that game tonight. And before we get started, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Go to FanDuel.com to place bets on just about every sport imaginable. But wow. This is an episode that I figured had to be just about this. What this moment means for all of us. You know, when I was a kid, I never envisioned that we would have our own stadium. I never even cared. I was like, we have a great arena. It was built in or opened in 1999-2000 season, so it's relatively new for arenas. State of the art, huge. And then as I grew older, I started to get a little bit annoyed with how the sound traveled all over the stadium and the Staples Center because it's so big and there's 3 levels of suites. And once the talk started happening about the Clippers potentially having their own stadium, I started envisioning, based on the description that Steve Ballmer and everybody was saying about it, that it's going to be one of those stadiums that's all about being closer to the action, not being too high, no bad seat in the house, kind of like MSG or TD Garden. And I say those because I've been to those stadiums. I started getting really excited. I started to envision the crowd and what it could be like in an arena that's built for basketball. And even though this isn't the first official basketball game at the Staples Center in terms of meaning, the first real game is going to be on October 23rd against the Phoenix Suns in 9 days. But this is the first literal organized basketball game in the NBA, or just a basketball game, period. Although, shout out to my boy Jack, Clipper fan, if you're listening. I saw that you played, and Law Murray too, played some kind of charity game or something, some kind of special game, but you know, that's kind of like a glorified pickup game from what I saw. We're talking about the actual players that are going to call this arena home, although all of us fans and people like Law Murray covering the team are going to call the arena home, but you know what I mean. The first real NBA game being played at Intuit Dome, and what a special night it's going to be. I don't know what the attendance is going to be. I think it'll be definitely better than your average preseason game, just given the circumstances, but this signifies a new chapter in our history. 1984, Clippers moved to LA. Really bad for a lot of years. Have those years in the 90s where we get to the playoffs, losing the first round, and then the Staples Center era, the co-tenants era with the Lakers and the Kings and the Sparks And back in the day, if you really know your LA sports history, the Los Angeles Avengers arena football team. But that Staples Center era that lasted 25 years were the best years in our history. We went from being a perennial doormat of the NBA and probably the worst franchise in American sports to being a solid team that gained respect. And it's where we got so many new fans, right, to take into this new arena. Without the Staples Center era, you don't get an Intuit Dome, because I don't think Ballmer would have been confident enough to build a new stadium. He needs to build a new stadium thinking he's going to fill it. And who's he going to fill it with? We don't have what happened in the Staples Center era. There are so many fans that have been a fan longer than me and started supporting during the Knuckleheads. Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, you are very much part of this. Lamar Odom, you are very much part of this opening night. And I really wonder how many Clippers alumni are going to be in the building tonight. If you're in LA and you were an ex-player, I would get in that building tonight. I mean, this is going to be the talk of the town. This is going to be the talk of, and I know the Lakers are always the talk of the town, but what's going to make more headway? JJ Redick and what he's doing in his first year as coach, or the brand new stadium worth billions of dollars, or $1 billion? I don't remember exactly how much it's worth. But you know what? Even Laker fans, and this is the ultimate sign that people really are interested in this, not one Laker fan has talked trash to me or that I've seen about this arena on socials. Every single one is saying, I can't wait to just check it out. And of course, they're making little jokes like, I can't wait till we take it over 2 times a year and all that. You know, that's going to come. But no crazy, ridiculous slander about it. I think some of the Laker fans are just happy that we're having our own arena finally and they get to have Staples Center as their own. But they also just know that we have the most state-of-the-art arena, not just in LA, but in the NBA. So how can they hate? And right now, the Clippers team-wise aren't in the best scenario or best situation. So I think the shots are all coming in that direction, but not on the arena. And you go a little bit further, right, in the Staples Center era. And then there's the era or the year that I became a fan, the 06 season, that special team that finally made it out of the first round. Elton Brand, Sam Cassell, Sean Livingston, Corey Maggette. I bet Corey Maggette will be in the building tonight. And this is for you guys too. You know, this really is. There would be no me without you guys, the 06 team. You changed everything. You changed everything. And then the team that really changed everything, Lob City. You know, I don't know when it's going to happen, but Blake Griffin's number will be retired in this arena very soon, at some point in the next couple of years. Maybe even this year, who knows? But I don't think anybody like can call this arena theirs and had more to do with it. Obviously Bomber number 1, but Blake Griffin and Chris Paul. And of course, you know, the other guys, DeAndre Jordan, Jamal Crawford, Matt Barnes, Redick, all those guys. Maybe a little bit less for Redick and Barnes, even though I love Barnes. CP3 and Blake Griffin and DJ, particularly Chris and Blake, they changed everything. They made so many people Clipper fans. They got so many fans excited. They were the beginning of the Clippers selling out every night. And I think without that sellout streak, you don't get this kind of confidence from Steve Ballmer to build an arena. And despite the fact that we've never won or even gone to the championship, we had our best years in the Staples Center. We made it to the second round multiple times. We made it to the conference finals for the first time ever in 2021. We had Paul George. We had Westbrook. We had Kawhi. We had James Harden. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, all wear the Clipper uniform in that arena. Even DeMarcus Cousins, John Wall, Rondo, Paul Pierce, these ex-stars donning the Clipper uniform. That doesn't happen to me without Steve Ballmer. And I think this is just the beginning of the arena that we're going to win a championship in. This stadium. And it's for our fans. No more third fiddle to the Lakers and the Kings. No more inconvenient schedules. No more having to coordinate our schedules with other teams. This is ours. This is our home. And when we're walking down those halls, we know that there's nothing that's going to be replaced. No, when we go to the team store, it's not going to be a revolving wall with King stuff behind the Clipper stuff. It is going to be decked out for Clipper fans by the Clippers. It is truly a special time to be a Clipper fan, even if the team's not in the most incredible state right now on the court. What's happening off the court is something that's going to have much a much more long-term effect on all of us. And it's very hard. I know I've talked for 10 minutes already, but it's very hard to quite put it into words what this is going to mean tonight. I really don't know how I'm going to react. It's going to be such a new experience for me. I've had my routines for all those years at Staples Center. 19 years of fandom as a Clipper fan, the parking lot, the entrance that I go in. And then when I became a season ticket holder and going to games the last couple of years in the dime dropper era, and when I started to drive myself to games and stuff like that, just all the little things I did, the routine at halftime to go meet by section 101 and see all the fans, the post-game interview spot right across the street from Kareem's statue in front of Tom's, all of that, no more. And now we have to find new routines and new traditions and new comfortable spots. But coming up, I'm going to be talking about what I'm most looking at and what fans should be looking at tonight for this momentous occasion. Going to be talking about it all coming up. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. And right now, there's bets for everything. The MLB, we got Game 2 going on Monday between the Dodgers and the Mets. As I said, I attended Game 1 on Sunday. The Dodgers are -1.5. Honestly, after the way they played on Sunday, I would take that. And then the Cleveland Guardians and the New York Yankees. The Yankees are -1.5 for that one. You can go to FanDuel.com to place your bets on all of that. That's FanDuel.com. All right. So, talking about how big of an occasion this is on Monday night, let me first talk about what I'm looking at. I think the #1 thing to look at tonight is the crowd. How loud is the difference? We have the same exact fan base going into a new stadium 1 year later. What are the differences in the acoustics, how the sound bounces off the walls? Is it going to genuinely sound much louder based on the fact that the fans are right on top of each other, closer to the court, and it's not as big as Staples Center? You're not as high. And by the way, if you're wondering how high is the highest row, I will be going there to check it out on the vlog. So stay tuned for all that. And of course, I'll be giving a comprehensive review on Tuesday's episode. In addition to talking about, I'm probably going to only talk about the game like half of the episode on Tuesday, and the rest is going to be what I saw. So the crowd's going to be the biggest thing I'm looking at. How are they sounding, right? And then the wall. I'm going to be sitting in the wall on Tuesday night. So just looking at how steep it is, what it looks like when it's in action. The supporters section is going to be in action. Of course, that was my section last year, and because I didn't opt to get season tickets this year, I'm not going to be involved in that. But to all those that are listening that are in the supporters section, I will rejoin you guys in due time. Not this year, but I will rejoin you guys one day. It's all on the team at this point with that. But I will be watching, supporting, joining in on the chants when I can, when I'm not if I'm not, a media member attending games and I'm in the crowd, I will be helping you guys and starting the chants, and I shouldn't say starting the chants, but following the chants, because I know they have the leaders for that. But that's something to look at. How does the heart of the wall look, the supporters section? And of course, the other parts of the arena, the second tier. How loud are those fans up there? Because at Staples Center, I remember always having a sense that when I was sitting there or when I was in the lower bowl, the fans that were sitting in the 300 section, they didn't even cheer like that because they felt like they weren't even going to be heard. They felt like they were in a different arena. And it was only when you'd have groups that came together, whether it's a school or some kind of club or recreation center group that got invited to sit in a section together up top, that would all make noise in unison, and you would hear them. But for the most part, you were not hearing noise from the upper level at Clipper games. So I'm hoping that because the upper level is not that much higher than the lower level, that those fans will be loud and generate an overall louder experience because everyone's feeling like they're part of the action. And what better way to make those fans at the top feel like they're part of the action than that, t-shirt idea where they have the cannons shooting out from the Halo board. And that's another thing I'm looking forward to tonight. The Halo board lit up during a game. How about those buttons on your seat? How are they going to work with the first in-game experience? I mean, that's going to be insane. The angles of the stadium. How different is it going to feel than Staples Center? That's going to be amazing. And then the food. A lot of people have talked about it. I have not eaten or tasted any of it. I am going to be trying a lot of different things. Brian Seaman keeps talking about that pretzel. I'm going to check out that pretzel. But this, I mean, I just can't believe what we're seeing. We're going to go all the way around the concourse. I mean, I'm also interested to see how early they open the doors. If I can get myself my first new jersey, that's going to be huge. I need that Nico jersey or that Zubats jersey tonight. And also, what's going to be playing on the big screen before the game? Are they going to be playing other games? Are people going to be watching? Are people going to be playing basketball on that court outside? By the way, that community court thing is kind of a lie, saying that it's always going to be open to the public. There's gates at the Intuit Dome. I don't think it's always going to be open to the public. I think it's very rarely going to be open to the public. So we'll see how that goes. But what else am I looking forward to? People wearing new jerseys. That'll be fun. How much closer we are to the game. That's going to be special. Remember, 45 feet closer to the action from row 20 at Intuit Dome as opposed to row 20 at Staples Center. 45 feet. That's almost half a court. Like, wow. What else? Yeah, I'm really curious about like the paraphernalia, like the Clippers stuff around the arena, because of course they were still doing construction work when I toured it every time. So I'm really curious to see, now that it's fully completed and it's a Clipper game, what kind of stuff are they going to have hanging in the hallways and, you know, around inside the arena, like in the rafters. Laker fans used to call them selfies, but selfies are pictures taken by yourself. That's why they're called selfies. You mean pictures of our players. There's no banners to cover up now, so I'm interested to see that. But yeah, I mean, this is all going to be amazing. And I'm just so excited. So excited. And I also want to say to all the fans that are going, even though it's a preseason game, and the game, especially in the second half, will matter very little, let's just see how loud we can get. We should have that excitement that this is a new era. Like, no stoic sitting in your seats like it's just another game energy. This is not just another game. It's not just a preseason game. This is special. This is history. History right here in Los Angeles. History right here for the LA Clippers. Our own stadium. And coming up, going to be looking at some things that I'm going to be looking at in the game and a message to all the fans. Going to be talking about that coming up. All right, so the Intuit Dome era begins on Monday night, and of course, there's still a game to be played. There's still a game to be played against the Dallas Mavericks. Ooh, am I going to see Klay Thompson tonight in a Mavericks jersey for the first time? I didn't even think of that. I'm so enamored with the Intuit Dome and everything we're going to see that I don't even care about seeing anybody over there, especially because we just played him in the playoffs. But Klay Thompson in a Mavs jersey, that'll be something. That'll definitely be something, but... Oh, I'm also interested to see how many Laker fans are going to be at this game and just every game, because there's always a sizable chunk of Laker fans at Clipper games because, one, it's a basketball game for a cheaper price, and LA is a basketball-obsessed city, and two, because a lot of Laker games are way too expensive, and they just want to watch good basketball. But here's the thing. I have no problem with the neutrals, the Laker fans that just wear regular clothes and just, enjoy the game. It's those Laker fans that wear the Laker jersey during the Clipper games that I'm just like, dude, you're so weird. At the Dodger game last night, I saw a guy wearing an Angels jersey and a Phillies jersey. I'm like, dude, you're in the wrong ballpark. But anyway, and some little girl wearing a Giants hat. Thank God she was just a little girl, because that was dangerous. Don't wear a Giants jersey to a Dodger game, people, please. Or an Astros jersey. You guys are playing with fire. Anyway, so I'm interested to see, given that we're not in the Lakers stadium anymore, is there going to be as much Laker infiltration? Of course, there's going to be a lot of Laker fans that go to our games this year, but how much? Are we going to see Laker jerseys in our arena? Because guess what? If I pass by one, they're getting an earful. They're getting an earful. You're in the wrong area code, brother. You're in the wrong neighborhood now. You're literally in the wrong neighborhood. The Forum's down the street. They don't play games there anymore. Anyway, the game. I guess I'm looking forward to seeing Klay Thompson in a Mavs jersey, but as far as us, I'm looking forward to seeing our players in their new jerseys. I'm looking forward to seeing how Bones, Highland, Harden, and KPJ could pump up the crowd. Can we get some more Zoo post-ups? This is the exact team he dominated in the playoffs last year. Or dominated may not be the right word, but played really well against. Can we at least feed him the ball a couple more times? Just because he misses one jump hook doesn't mean we should go away from him. That's crazy. And then what else? Oh, hopefully a Derrick Jones Jr. dunk. Maybe a little Terrence Mann action. I wonder if Norm's going to play because he missed that last game with that sore back. Kai Jones, maybe he'll have some dunks. And by the way, as far as the Kai Jones thing, I know I really dedicated a lot of talk about him in that episode, the last episode I did, talking about how, he should get a look over Mo Bamba. But here's the thing. I still mentioned, and I forgot to kind of mail it home, that Kai Jones, he can't really be looked at as a replacement for Mo Bamba because if he's only on a two-way contract. If he gets signed to a standard deal in which we'd have to trade somebody or make room somehow, then he could compete with Mo Bamba for that spot. Until Mo Bamba comes back, he'll probably have that spot. But he can only play 41 games because of that two-way contract if he gets it. So Mo Bamba is the backup. But I'm really intrigued by Kai Jones. I'm really impressed so far with his liveliness, his activity, and his athleticism that we desperately kind of need. And, hey, man, we're going to need exciting players because if Kawhi's out, this season's going to be rough. And we're going to need some exciting players to pump up that that crowd in the new arena and keep fans invested. Because here's what I'm also worried about. Parking. I know for those of you that are watching on TV, by the way, what are you looking forward to? What are you looking at? I would say the angles. Like, this is the first time we're getting camera angles at Intuit Dome. What does the crowd look like? The court, all of that. What does it sound like? That's everything to me. If I'm watching on TV, that's what I'm looking at and listening to. Volume on full blast, ladies and gentlemen. But, yeah, it's Kai Jones, the athleticism. Oh, I was going to say about the parking. I'm hearing that they're charging 50 plus for parking. Look, this is not the NFL. This is not a once a week kind of deal. Basketball games are like every other day. If you're charging that much for parking, you're essentially charging more for parking than the tickets themselves. I don't know how many people, especially if the team's not good, are going to try to make that Hajj over to Intuit consistently. Like, that's a lot of money. So we'll see how that goes. The first couple of weeks they might get away with it, but they're going to try to charge $50 to $60 for parking all season. I don't know, man. Clipper fans, part of the reason that we're Clipper fans is because it's a cheaper alternative to the Lakers. While we don't see the championships the same way, while we don't have that storied history, we're able to connect with our team on a far greater scale because we get to go to so many games if you're a local fan. That's part of the draw of being a Clipper fan. I feel so much closer to the team than any of my Laker fan friends. And it's not just because I host Locked On Clippers and New Dime Dropper. I felt that way before I even started those platforms or, took over as host here and then started my own platform. You're able to really make a difference and be there every night. Shout out to my guy Jason Lee. You see Jason Lee at games anywhere, in Vegas, in the Summer League. You see him at preseason. You see him at Staples Center just walking around. You see a consistent group of fans all the time at Clipper games. And, outside of the big celebrities and the guy that holds up that sign at Laker games, the defense, I don't really see that. It's because it's not affordable. So that's going to be special. That's going to be special. And as far as post-game interview spot, for those wondering that have been featured in my vlogs and stuff like that, I'm looking at right above where the bridge is. When you walk through the bridge and exit and are looking straight at the plaza, right to the right of that area, overlooking the stadium, on the right next to the entrance of the bridge, that's where we're going to be. So overlooking Intuit Dome, facing the plaza by the bridge is going to be the post-game interview spot now until further notice, until someone, I don't know if they'll kick me out. See, that's another thing I'm looking forward to. How late do they close the gates after the game? Because there are those white gates facing the main entrance. So we're going to see. But if you see me at the game, please do not hesitate to come up to me. Please. I really want everyone's thoughts. This is a momentous occasion. And it's not just about people in LA and Clipper fans wondering what this looks like. Fans of the NBA across the world are going to be wondering what this stadium looks like and what this experience is going to be. We are the newest stadium in the NBA. And that's going to give us some extra draw this season, even though The NBA has not put us on national TV too much, but there are definitely people that are wondering about this arena. And where can you find the content on it in this journey? And as we're experiencing everything for the first time, right here on right here on Locked On Clippers, and of course Dime Droppers. So looking forward to it indeed. Looking forward to seeing everybody again. It all begins. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dime Dropper Pod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where big videos will be coming the next 2 days. And Locked On Clippers, free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Let me know what you're looking forward to the most, what you're looking forward to watching on TV. And if you want to make comments about the team and the game itself, knock yourself out. The age-old proverb continues. I'll see everyone tonight. Go Clippers. Woo-wee!